I think that collecting is a journey. And I think that the most beautiful part of the journey is the part where you actually get to understand what you are collecting. I get people that come to me and they say that they want to make a coin collection. And I say, you first buy books, you study the books, you decide what do you want to collect, what you like. You try to build a little bit of a knowledge before you even start collecting.
Chaque objet d'art a une histoire à raconter. Une histoire qui devient un mythe qui devient légende. Bienvenue sur Retenons, le podcast qui explore le marché de l'art et ses coulisses. Découvrez les histoires inspirantes des femmes et des hommes, experts, galeristes, collectionneurs, qui agissent à l'unisson pour rendre ce secteur vibrant et riche en découvertes, avec l'amour et la passion pour l'art et la beauté qui les guident au quotidien. Partez pour un voyage unique, où la tradition et l'expertise se mêlent aujourd'hui à l'innovation et à la technologie, où des nouveaux enjeux sociétaux et juridiques rebattent les cartes du secteur et redéfinissent l'essence même du collectionnisme au XXIe siècle. Je m'appelle Bornas Cognamillo, je suis le PDG et fondateur de Numismatica, et ça, c'est Retenons. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this new episode of Retenons podcast. And today the episode will be led in English because we have an international guest. We have the pleasure to host Arturo Russo, CEO of Numismatica Ars Classica. And I'm very happy to have you with us, Arturo. So please, could you introduce yourself?
My name is Arturo Russo and I'm the director of Numismatica Ars Classica. We are an auction house with offices in Zurich, London, Milan, and Chicago, and we are also dealers in ancient coins, mainly in ancient coins, but also Italian coins and modern coins.
Excellent, thank you very much. And could you tell us maybe what sparked your interest in ancient art? So how did it all get started? I know that this is a family story, but maybe you could tell us more about it.
Yeah, it is a family tradition. So my father is the founder of Numismatica Ars Classica. So I basically started with him. And when I finished high school, basically my dad told me, okay, now what do you want to do? And if you want to become, a lawyer or you want to work in finance, you go to university. Otherwise, if you want to join the family business, I'm gonna be your master. I'm gonna be your teacher. So as soon as I finished the high school, I did a short internship in London to improve my English, and then I started immediately to work for the family business.
Okay, and could you tell us how was the let's say career progression within a family? How did you improve, and how did you get to today's position? Thanks also to your father's suggestions and advices.
Listen, to be honest with you, it is rather tough. It's not easy. You start and you know very little, and for many years you're under the impression that you are not learning as much as you actually learn, and then after a number of years you realize that you have learned a substantial amount of. You learn a lot, and you are now capable to work on your own. My father was rather strict with me, and it has been very challenging. But I was very, very happy to be able to work with him for 15 years. I mean, it was also the main reason why I decided to become a coin dealer or to become a numismatist. So my father has always been traveling a lot, being away from home a lot. And I really wanted to spend time with him. So that was the first drive to decide to join the family business.
Excellent, beautiful. And today you are several of your family working together, right?
We are 4 children, and my brother is the co-director of the company. But he's very, very capable, and we work together very well. And also my sister, she works in the Milan office.
Okay, thank you very much. And so what is your daily life today as a co-director of Numismatica Ars Classica? How does it look like?
I mean, first of all, I do travel a lot. I mean,
Okay.
normally I'm, for the last 25 years, I've always been away at least for 150 days. So there's a lot of traveling, visiting clients, attending auctions, making appraisals, go to auctions. So I do travel a lot. If I'm in the office, I go to the office and I mainly work with coins. So, which is either making evaluation, making some studies, making some researches. I do not really work that much with the administrative side of the business, but but the beauty is that I know it very well, because when my father was alive and when I started my career, I was in charge of it. So so I did it. So I know it works. But these days I mainly, just work with coins, with clients, and
Yeah, the cool part of the job.
job, yes.
Excellent, thank you, Arturo. And so, talking about so your company, could you share with us maybe the vision and the mission? How does it distinguish itself from other actors in the market?
So we are one of the premier auction houses in the field of ancient numismatics. You see, what my father saw coming many, many years ago, before I think many of our competitors, is the importance of dealing with coins with old provenances. We started to be like the main auction house for let's say important collection. So we have been very, very many years ago to concentrate ourselves dealing exclusively with collectors and getting fewer consignors from other dealers, because there was the tradition in the coin business that you were getting consignment from other dealers. And my father's view was that we had to become very competitive and establish ourselves as the main auction house for collector and for important collector.
Okay, excellent. And what about the auctions themselves? So how many auctions do you organize roughly during a year?
We have let's say we have two auctions events, which are mainly in the spring and in the autumn.
Okay.
And but in these two events, at least when we are talking about the ancient coins, we can have more catalogs. So we can have a general sale, and then we can have some specially dedicated catalog to for a collection. So there are two events, but they can be maybe each auction two or three, to each event two or three different auctions or two or three different catalogs.
Okay.
And in Milan we have auction once or twice a year. There are years where we have like a special auction, maybe, I don't know, in December or in February, but it very much depends if there is a collector that wishes to sell his collection in a specific time, which can happen. I mean, either because he wants to do it quickly, or he wants to make the auction on his own. He doesn't want to be in one of the two events that we do held regularly.
I see. And do you recall a memorable auction that you organized throughout your career? An auction and also some coins that you maybe remember very well?
I mean, I'm rather lucky because we have organized a number of memorable auctions. With the ancient component of the Huntington collection was the collection that it was the Hispanic Society of America in New York.
Okay.
We organized the auction of a man in love with art, which is a collector that, by contract, and I'm not allowed to mention, but is a very famous collector and is a person that he was very close to very close to my heart. I mean, it was a dear friend and a true art lover. And there are many others. I mean, I also remember, maybe the first big auction that we had, which was auction 24, which is the property of a European nobleman, which is a little bit the auction that put us on the pipeline, in the sense that the most established auction house for ancient coins until the late 90s was Numismatic, which was the company that took over the numismatic department of Bank Loy. That auction, which was a phenomenal auction, gave us a little bit like the status of one of the most important auction house for ancient coins. But I could name many others, because you see, the beauty of this business is that your clients become your friends.
Excellent.
And I sold collections of many friends, people that that you don't just talk about coins, people that share your passion for arts, that they are extremely interesting individuals.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's also about establishing a trust relationship with your customers, and if they become friends, I mean, it's a win-win.
Yeah, it's a win-win. And you see, I mean, this is what my father taught me. He was keep telling me, in this business, there are a lot of dealers that they want to make a lot of money quickly. They overcharge the clients and they make a lot of money for a very short period of time. What my father kept telling me, he said, listen, it's much better to do less money, less profit, but for a longer period of time. And this is what we have been doing. But you see, we have a very special relationship with our clients, and know that they will be treated fairly. And I think this is a little bit the secret of our success, in a way.
Absolutely. And also, I mean, financially is always better to have a longer customer lifetime value rather than a short one for a one-shot sale, and then the customer disappears for whatever reason. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Yeah, that's definitely the way of doing things, I suppose. Okay, thank you very much. And if we move forward about collecting, so what does collecting art mean for you today? Also, if you go beyond numismatics,
I think that collecting is a journey. And I think that the most beautiful part of the journey is the part where you actually get to understand what you are collecting. The first thing that, sometimes I get people that come to me and they say that they want to make a coin collection. And I say, you first buy books, you study the books, you decide what do you want to collect, what you like. You try to build a little bit of a knowledge before you even start collecting. What I do like about ancient art, medieval art, is that there is a very important component of studying. One of my father's clients, who is a very successful businessman, I mean, incredibly busy. I remember he was discussing the coins with my father in the evening and giving him the bids in the morning. Not because he didn't trust my dad, but simply because he was taking the night to study and to understand how important that coin was for his collection, how unrepeatable it was, what was the right level of bid, how important the coin was. So I think that the beauty of coin collecting, art collecting in general, is really the journey, is really the time that you spend to understand what you are buying, why you are buying it, and to build the knowledge.
Absolutely. Very, very, very interesting. And talking about maybe ancient coins, what are today, in your opinion, the Greek or Roman coins on the market that a collector should absolutely have in his or her collection?
This is a question that is difficult to answer. I mean, the coin that you need to have is what you like, is what you are interested in. There are coins which are, let's say, appealing to every collector. I mean, the most famous coin of the ancient time is the denarius of the Aidma. So a coin that has been struck by Brutus in the aftermath of the killing of Julius Caesar. I mean, you can be a collector of Greek coin, you can be a collector of Roman coin, you can be a collector of medieval coin. This coin is such a powerful message of propaganda that regardless of the specific interest for a field, I think this is a piece of history which is known to everybody and makes everybody wants to have. A couple of years ago, we sold an Arias of the Aidma, which was on display for 10 years at the British Museum, and the coin was pierced. It was pierced in such a perfect way that it was done because probably someone was wearing it, and for the way it was pierced, it was probably worn by a supporter of Brutus.
Of Brutus, absolutely. Wow.
That's very fascinating. There are other coins. There are so many coins. You know, some years ago we sold the coin of Vespasian, and I was of Vespasian, which had on the reverse the legend Judaea recepta. Vespasian and Titus they got the triumph for the campaign in Judea, but you can get a triumph only if you have added territory to the Roman Empire. Otherwise, you cannot get your triumph. So this coin, which is unique, this is probably a coin that it was struck immediately after the victory and the fall of Jerusalem, and then it must have been withdrawn from the market because the message, because recepta means that it means got back. So, but you know, if you get something bad, means that you lost it. So, and probably so that's why the coin was withdrawn from the market, and all the coins that were melted down, and you know, one survived.
Incredible. So, wow, that's extremely interesting. And do you see any evolution in recent years of the market? New players, collector who are getting interested in ancient coins. Do you see a trend eventually?
There are definitely many new collectors in the Far East. So we were used to having very few collectors in the Far East. And now we have many collectors in China who are more interested in Greek coins than they are in Roman coins. Probably because they don't study Roman history as we do in Europe or in the US. And the themes of the Greek coins with the animals, with the meats is probably something which is a little bit closer to the culture.
The culture, absolutely, yeah. That's fascinating. And talking about the market prices evolution, how do you keep track of the market itself? Do you have any tool that you use? What are the tools, let's say, that a numismatics expert uses daily?
There are engines where you can actually track prices, but they are very dangerous in a way to establish trend in the market. Sometimes one coin can fetch a very high price simply because buyers, for mysterious reasons, they've decided to put the coin. That doesn't mean that this is the value of the coin. I mean, the value of the coin, the real value of the coin needs to be established in a much broader context. And there are, thanks God, small details that makes a huge difference in price in ancient numismatics.
Right. And so this is why also it's more important to follow the estimates, eventually evolutions and trends, or not?
No, because this is another problem these days, because the new trend in the market, which I completely disagree on, is to put the estimate as low as possible. which is in my opinion completely wrong, because you see, I mean, you basically, by putting estimates which are way too low, you misguide the collector. So in an auction, the estimate has to be attractive. So a buyer can think that he can be substantially more than the estimate. But I too often see in auction coins estimated at I don't know, 10% of their value.
Wow.
And this is, in my opinion, this is just completely wrong. I mean, it's misguiding the client. Is not making, basically, is not giving any service
I see.
to the buyer.
Absolutely. And does it also affect what you said? Does it affect the way a collector and the professionals like you that could accompany, so the experts that accompany the collectors as investors? I mean, today we try to get ROI for any assets we invest in, and ancient art is also an asset.
I personally don't see coins or art in general as an investment.
Okay.
I think that is. I don't think it's the right approach to look at art as an investment. In my opinion, art should be a passion. It can be an allocation of wealth. So I can see that some very wealthy individual, they have maybe, I don't know, 25% of their assets in real estate, 40% is shares, and maybe they can put a percentage in art. But I don't like the concept of art as an investment, also because forecasting the market, in my view, is completely impossible.
Yeah.
Because it is reigned by by only one rule, which is offer and demand.
And demand, yeah.
Now, if you ask me what is going to be the offer and in the demand in 5 years, I'm not the wizard.
Right.
Nobody knows what is going to be the offer and what is going to be the demand in 5 years. And it would be absolutely unfair and dishonest to say that I know what's going to happen in 5 years. I think that, if you want to make a good investment, brackets, you have to buy as a collector and not as an investor. You have to study a lot, and you have to listen to the advice of the right people. And if you have a good eye and you had good advisor, in general terms, over a long period, art, I mean, in the specific coins, can be a good investment.
Yeah, that could be an appreciation.
There could be an appreciation over time. For instance, now the market for Greek coins is stronger than the market for Roman coins.
Okay.
Buyers for Greek than there are buyers for Roman. This can change very quickly. Collecting Roman coins is generally easier. And that's why Roman coins have been always more collected than Greek coins. Now, I mean, for instance, the wave of new collectors from the Far East, I mean, is helping Greek coins to do extremely well. But this could change very quickly. Also, the coin business, the numismatic, is a real niche. So 3, 4, 5 big collectors that they decide to start collecting, they will cause an increase of price, quite important in a short period of time.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I agree with your vision, and I like very much this vision, which is maybe from other colleagues I've been talking about, will not share completely.
I personally prefer to deal with collectors rather than investor. I mean, I'm a dealer, but I love coins and I'm very passionate about coins. So talking to a knowledgeable collector is far more interesting than talking to an investor. I mean, to simply talk about the financial aspect of coins for me is a little bit, I mean, I'm boring. Yeah, I mean, that's I was trying to find another expression, but the right expression is that I really find it boring.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting. For me, it's fascinating also to be able to establish a price, in a very exact way. But I think that coins and art in general, there is so much more than just the value. For short-term investment, you just need luck. So the market has to move in your favor. So if market goes up, you made a good investment. Market goes down, you made a bad investment. I mean, we are also dealers, so I also buy and sell coins. But when I buy and when I sell coins, I don't follow the trend of the market. I look at the coin in a much larger, in a much
bigger picture.
Bigger picture, yeah.
Very, very interesting. Thank you very much. So moving also forward, I also would like to ask you, Arturo, about your vision about the future of the antiquities art market, and what are the greatest challenges that the market, the collectors and dealers must face?
I think, obviously there is a challenge, because I think that sometimes the approach of certain scholars and the approach of certain authorities is a little bit too much black and white. And I think that obviously the market has not been healthy in the past. I think that there was some exaggeration. On the other hand, I think that killing the market is against the interest of the museums, of the scholars, is against the interest of everybody. I think it's actually very sad. I'm only 49 years old, but as you said, my father was a numismatist before me. My father was to befriend and to exchange information with all the major scholars. I remember all the major scholars coming to my house and talking to my dad and exchanging ideas about coins since I was a child. And I think that to have regulation which are too strict, I think is really against the interest of everybody. So there's this idea. Obviously, on our side, we have to understand that the world has changed, and we have to have much more strict due diligence process, and this is what we need to do. But this due diligence process has to be logical and rational. And coins, in particular, is a very peculiar field.
Right.
It's not like a statue or like I don't know, a huge mosaic. It's unlikely that nobody took a picture of a statue that was in a house since 1920.
Right.
On coins, very often, I can tell you just a couple of example. Once I went to, someone called me in Amsterdam, and they say that they tell me that they have a coin collection. So I go there, and the coin collection was made by someone who died in World War I. The coins have been in the family since World War I, and they had no information whatsoever. The only thing I could find was an envelope of one of my colleagues in Paris, which is unbelievable. He had the same address in 1907 that he has now, which is Bourget. And the other coins, I couldn't find any provenance. So then I made some research, and I was able to find some of these coins in an auction of 1905. The other coins, they've probably been purchased by dealer at the time, and they had no provenance. Doesn't mean that these coins were illegal.
Yeah,
they were simply coins that they've been in a bank vault or in a coin cabinet for 100 years. The same goes for another collection that we start selling next year. The last coin has been bought in 1940. We will be looking for the provenances, and I'm sure we will find some. But some we will not. We won't be able to find some of the provenances. Some of the coins, the collector probably visited, I don't know, Spink in London, or I don't know, Bourget in Paris, or Schulman in Amsterdam, and he bought the coins from them privately. So it's actually sometimes difficult to establish the provenance of a coin, also because in the past, now everything goes in auction. The market has changed, and the amount of coins sold in auction is much larger than it was in the past. But until 1970s, there were basically less than 10 auction houses, and probably there were, I don't know, 20 auctions a year. Everything else was sold privately.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't pass through an auction doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't have a provenance.
Okay.
And this is a huge challenge because sometimes you have countries that they ask you for provenance prior to an year, which is basically impossible to get.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that obviously there have been unpleasant episodes in the past. People selling coins without basically any due diligence. I think that we need to find an understanding between scholars, authorities, and dealers and auction houses, but they have to be reasonable.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the concrete risk of having Series A and Series B objects, coins or archaeological objects, and all those ones not having a proper provenance for all the reasons you mentioned. So we are speaking about completely legit objects. There is a risk that they will be handed over a secondary market. You know what I mean?
No, I completely agree with you. It makes complete sense. We don't want the market to go completely underground. If everything goes completely underground and everything becomes like on a second market, basically the information they're going to get completely lost. And you see the thing that I keep saying. So I'm Italian, okay. Italy has a huge number of coins in museums, gigantic number of coins in museums. There are so many that the only coins that they are properly cataloged, in most cases, are the ones which have been gifted by private collectors. And sometimes, and I'm sorry to say that, but this is actually the case. There's another funny story. So once, we applied for an export license for a coin of Mark Antony and Octavian. And we got, a notice that the Italian state wants to buy it. I said, I can't believe it. They must have this coin. It's impossible that they don't have it. So I called them and I say, why do you want to buy it? And they tell me, because there is no one in any Italian museum. And I tell them, I can't believe it. And then I ask this lady, you check Barfeld. And I see on the other side that she clearly doesn't know what I'm talking about. And Barfeld is a book which I think has been published in the 20s. I don't remember if it was 1926 or 1929, that basically lists all the Roman Republican array. And then she goes like, no, we don't have this one with us. Okay, do you mind if I send you a photocopy?
Yeah.
So I sent the photocopies, and it turns out that in 1929 or 26, whatever it was, there are four coins: one in Rome, one in Florence, one in Milan, and one in Naples.
Okay.
So I asked her, did you call them? I say, yeah, Milan doesn't have it. And it's possible because the Germans, they stole some coins from Milan during World War II. Florence, the curator was on holiday. Nobody else was able to look at it. Rome, yes, we have it, but it's very worn condition. And what about Naples? And they say, no, Naples doesn't have it. So I go and check. And there is even the inventory number of the Fiorelli collection. I don't remember if it was Fiorelli or Sant'Angelo, one of the two.
I see.
I tell them, listen, you have two options. You either find the coin or I call the Carabinieri. So up to you. So they go, and obviously they find the coin. But the reason why they couldn't find the coin is that in Naples, I think they have 600,000 coins. You don't, for instance, for Republican coins, we use a book called Crawford. If you don't if nobody has ever put the Crawford number on it, it's impossible to find. It's literally impossible to find. I could tell you endless story,
Incredible. That's the point, Arturo. In my opinion, I think that there are ways of mitigating the effects of this regulation, because otherwise, it's easy to create and write laws, but then to apply them and getting them to the reality, there is a huge gap, right? And please go for it.
Yeah, they need to make laws which are enforceable, which are reasonable. For instance, we are an auction house in Switzerland. We have to keep the paperwork about the consignor or the buyer of a coin for 30 years.
Wow,
so
okay.
this is a very regulated business. It's not that it's an unregulated business. I think that we have to find a common ground. And I think that obviously we are against looting. It's something which is bad for everybody. But on the other hand, we have to have regulation that they are enforceable.
Yeah.
And you see, I mean, if a coin has been bought in good faith 25 years ago, I mean, or 30 years ago, I mean, you cannot ask me to go and find, what's the provenance prior to that, because it's basically, it's not possible. It's impossible. We have to make our due diligence. We have to choose our consignor. We have to ask the right questions and make sure that, everything is done according to the law. But said that, I think it's in everybody's interest to keep private collecting alive. I mean, people tend to think that it's simply an American thing, that collection ends up in museum, which is totally wrong. In the past, a lot of very important collection ended up in public institution. If you look at coins, the Gnecchi gave his collection to the Museum of Rome. Pierre Castelli gave his collection to the Museum of Forlì. Fiorelli and Sant'Angelo, which are two private collections, are actually the core of the coin collection in Naples. Now, at this very moment, there is a very interesting initiative, which is the new Corpus Nomorum Italicorum. So the King of Italy was collecting coin. They were published this gigantic work, which is called the Corpus Nomorum Italicorum, okay? 20 volumes, all the coins struck in Italy after, I think, 476. Now they are redoing it. And who is writing the new Corpus Nomorum Italicorum? They are all collectors.
Wow.
All collectors working together with scholars. As I said, what is happening at the moment is a little bit sad. The house of the greatest collector was always open to the great scholar. All these collectors, they were actively working together with the scholars.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, thank you very much, Arturo. But it's extremely important for you to say that, and I mean, I can 100% share your point of view in this sense. Thank you very much. Arturo, we are getting towards the end of our podcast. I wanted to ask you, because when you started your career and you had to read, I suppose, many books. This is a question I ask every invitee to my podcast. Do you have a top 3 reading list about numismatics?
I think I'll give you three books. One that is, I'm particularly attached because it's something that he was publishing of my father, and it's called Essays in Honor of Arturo Russo, and it's a book where a lot of scholars, many prestigious scholars, published articles in honor of my father when he passed away, and it's a book where you will find scholarship articles, but there's also from all of them or many of them a little touch about my father. So, and there's this biography, how did he start with coins and what he has achieved in his numismatic career. So that's the first one that I'd like to recommend. The second one is a book about Roman coinage by David Vaghi. Which is called History and Coinage of the Roman Empire, which is a very good book for someone that is just starting with numismatics. I mean, it gives a little bit of history of the Roman Empire, and along with what is related to coins and coinage in general. And the third book is actually not a book, but is a catalog. and it's the catalogs of the BCD collection by Alan Walker. So Alan Walker wrote two catalogs for the series of auctions of the BCD collection, which is the most complete collection of mainland Greece coins. And particularly two ones are very interesting and fascinating. One is on the coinage of Olympia, of Elis, and the other one is on the coinage of Thessaly. And it's very, very interesting and funny because, there is a lot of information about the coins, but also a lot of personal touch from the collectors, which is one of these cases where the collector is at least as knowledgeable as the best scholar. And I think this is a book which I think that reader would find interesting and funny to a certain extent. So these are my top three recommendations.
Thank you very much, Arturo. One last question before we end our interview. How can we reach out to you, to Numismatica Classica? Are you on social media, LinkedIn? What's the best way to reach you?
I mean, I have to say that I'm terrible. I am on LinkedIn, but I think that I never replied to someone asking me a contact, and I'm not at all on social media.
So for our listeners, Arturo is very nice. He's a very nice person. Don't take it personally.
Exactly. Don't take it personally. But someone can contact you on the website of the company, which is classicacoins.com. I'm always happy to speak with someone who is interested in coins. That's the thing I like the most.
It's excellent. And hopefully, Arturo, we will find the occasion to talk about coins and art another occasion. But I thank you very much for this nice exchange and interview we had. And that's the purpose also of Rosso Antico, to get in touch and speak with people who share with our listeners the passion. And what you said about, investment and art, maybe putting art on a superior level, that's maybe the value we have to cherish the most.
At the end of the day, I keep saying that we don't sell an object, but we sell the emotion that someone has by holding it in his hands.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Arturo. It's been a great pleasure, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Merci d'avoir écouté cet épisode jusqu'au bout. S'il vous a plu, n'hésitez pas à noter Rosso Antico avec 5 étoiles sur votre plateforme de podcast préférée. Cela nous aide énormément à le diffuser et à faire grandir notre audience. Rosso Antico est un podcast produit par Winkelmann & Co, société spécialisée dans les services innovants à destination des professionnels du marché de l'art. Si vous voulez en savoir plus, connectez-vous sur www.winkelmann.co. Merci et à bientôt.